Hi everyone. First of all, I'd just like to say hello. And my name is Sarah. I'm so lucky to be standing here next to Carly on one of the most important days of her life. Carly, you look absolutely breathtaking. If I was forced to decide which dress I like best, I couldn't. George, you're looking pretty good yourself. And as far as the groomsmen and bridesmaids go, you're all looking pretty good today too. Carly and I met when we were 14 at a youth group event. I can still clearly remember Carly's dad Andrew asking Richard, the group leader, if I was alright. I can't quite remember his answer, but I bet he would have never thought it was the gateway to a friendship as strong as ours. When I first sat down to write this speech, I really didn't know where to begin, so I did what anyone in my position would do, and I turned to Google. My search came up with thousands of maid of honour speeches, which were really no help to me at all. I changed my speech to what is a best friend. The definition I got was to be expected. It read, the one friend that is closest to you. And for me, that friend is Carly. I count myself so lucky to have experienced this unique type of friendship. When you think about it, pronouncing that one person in your life is more important than any of the others without being family or romantic is really quite incredible. We've been through so much together. We learnt from a young age that while baking, knowing the difference between sugar and salt is really quite important. We learnt that neither of us were destined to be stars of fashion designers. This didn't stop us from venturing out in matching skirts made from men's dress pants that looked like they'd had a nasty collision in the craft aisle in the warehouse. We learnt how to sneak out at night, and we also learnt how to get away with it.
Is that an apology?
We learnt that it was indeed possible to spend an entire week's pay on payday in one fell swoop on things we really didn't need. We learnt that often my dad and Michelle took walks around Lake Takura at lunchtime. We also learnt that Gary and Paul were cheaters at Stakes and Ladders. I could go on all night talking about how much we've grown together. I still remember dancing around my living room to Sophie Leanne rhyme songs. This in turn turned to dancing in nightclubs and sometimes other strange places on our adventures together. One thing I always knew, and I still know, is I can count on you for anything. You are the first person I want to call when there's good news, and I know you'll always be there with an open mind and a non-judgmental shoulder for me when there's bad news. Carly, you have the most beautiful, kind and caring heart, and George, I hope you'll ever count yourself blessed to have her in your life. You two complete each other in every sense of the word. It's clear how much love and respect you have for each other, and it's so nice seeing your beautiful personality shine through and jet. It's only natural that your husband will now take on the role of being your best friend. George, I hope you'll let me share this with you and remain Carly's best girlfriend. I know that no matter how hard I look, I will never find anyone that could ever replace her. Carly and George, I wish you both all the happiness in the world as you embark on this new adventure as Mr. and Mrs. Spicer. Before I ask you all to raise your glass in toasting the bride and groom, I have one little piece of advice. George, don't ever stop dating your wife, and Carly, don't ever stop flirting with your husband. To Carly and George.
I'm George's brother, my name is Mike, and as this young man, when he was growing up, he was such a little brat. You know, as he grew up and his life go on, he was really hard to control. And it does come time to time, I think to myself, when is this boy ever going to grow up? But when George met you, Carly, I think you made him grow up. And when you had Jet, wow, this boy became a man. And I thank you for that, Carly. George, don't ever stop running this morning. You're really lucky. Really lucky. But I'm going to leave all the funny stories to hopefully a couple of those boys will probably stand up and say a few stories, embarrassing ones. But I really don't have any embarrassing stories to tell about George. Because time to time we had our hard times and good times. I think our best times are on the water fishing. And he loves it. We we love Carly very much, and I thank you very much. You're a very special person, Carly, and cherish that, George. All right. Don't the bridesmaids look really beautiful? Oh, and the groomsmen, we're all hands around. But you know, with this toast to Carly and George, congratulations.